After 5 years of being a content creator that literally focuses primarily on fan-made projects, mangas, animations, games for the Dragon Ball community, I am finally making the video that a lot of you guys have been asking for, and that is what my top 10 Dragon Ball fan mangas are of all time. And these are the ones that up until right now I feel have left a permanent imprint on me, especially going forward with reviewing and reading brand new Dragon Ball fan mangas, or if I decide to make my own. These are the ones that really left an imprint. Now, if yours is not on the list, it didn't leave that hard of an imprint on me like the others. It is too new and it's not over yet, which is a lot of Dragon Ball fan mangas right now, especially this year, that I've been reviewing that are not even close to being over yet. I have not read it yet, so if you don't see a fan manga here, then the chances are it fits in one of these three categories. But if it's one that I haven't read, recommend it to me. Recommend me the ones you feel are really awesome and worth a read. But let's stop wasting time. Let's jump into number 10, Dragon Ball Infinity. And this is by far the most fan fiction manga on this list. It follows the story of Taima as he faces off against a pharaoh that is corrupt. It is a pharaoh that is part of the Beerus race and tells the origins of essentially a lot of Dragon Ball characters. Now, this one is the most unique. It has the most amount of unique lore. It has the most amount of unique characters and situations, and the topics are extremely mature. Like, if you love Egyptology, then this is going to be right up your alley. It was definitely a fun read. One of the first Dragon Ball fan mangas that I ever reviewed on this channel. And I know the creator Jordan Durham, so yeah, he's a real cool dude and I've known him for years. So this Dragon Ball fan manga definitely is probably the most unique one on this list. Definitely worth a read though. It is a great story, and they even have like an anime manga version of it with little sections of it online, so make sure you go ahead and check it out. The next Dragon Ball fan manga is Goku x Kale, or Kaleverse. I was enthralled with this Dragon Ball fan manga when it first came out because there was literally nothing like it. There really was no Dragon Ball fan manga that had a potential love story for Goku with anybody else. And before y'all get mad, Goku was divorced in this fan manga from Chi-Chi. He was single, and it was a weird kind of ship because I never seen it before with Kale, and it actually worked because both of them kind of have the thing the other one lacks. It was a really good battle between a berserker like Kale versus Goku in the manga itself, and it mixes the slice of life with the action really well. The only thing is that it's still ongoing because there is a subplot with a OC that the creator has created. It's one of Goku's exes that is a little bit down the rabbit hole, but still a solid read. Dragon Ball Reboot. This is the Gine story, and I feel like this is the preliminary how to get a given character that really didn't have much to begin with, because when we see Gine, we know her as a loving wife, a loving mother. That's basically it. We don't get any other information besides that, but in Reboot, we get to see her fight, we get to see her personality, what she thinks of the Saiyans, what she thinks of Earth. We get so much her parenting and trying to be a mother for Goku. It is a really good story, and it gives us an awesome what if as to what if Gine was raising Goku on Earth and how that would change Goku's life trajectory. So it's just an awesome what if all around and a really solid story. Dragon Ball Unguarded, again, one of the OGs of the channel, and this one, I am telling you, I was just so hooked when it first came out. It is a story of Frieza's first Saiyan friend, and we don't really get an ending to this one, but it is just such a classic, and it changed the way that I see different characters because it gave me so much more depth into Frieza's backstory, his childhood and everything like that, which he obviously did have, but in this sense he actually has a friend that is a Saiyan that is yeah, it's the reason either he hates the Saiyans or he wants to kill them, and we don't really know what happens to the friend at the very end. But the manga itself is really solid, and it was just such a solid different take on Frieza that you can't help but be entertained the entire time you're watching Frieza go through like different types of issues through his life. that normal people would go through. I just love it when they make the villain more sympathetic. It just gets me. Dragon Ball New Age, and honestly, I had this one and Dragon Ball AF. I had both of them up, you know, like which one I wanted to add in this spot because I wanted one of these. And at the end of the day, New Age is just such a more realistic take on a long lost sibling or long lost biological relative for one of our heroes to come back. And it just has such a great emphasis on story, giving us another take on Vegeta, and Vegeta having this sort of long lost brother that is far stronger than he is right now, and is now the catalyst for the events that happen in that story, as opposed to AF, where you have kind of like a really it is interesting, but it's kind of strange story of the Kai taking Goku's DNA essentially and making a child out of him. That to me is a little strange, so that's the reason I chose New Age on this, because New Age to me just seems far more believable and it makes a lot more sense, and it's just a solid story. If you want a solid Goku and Vegeta versus some sort of Saiyan relative story, then this is definitely the one. Goku trains Caulifla. This story in and of itself is by far one of the best Dragon Ball fan mangas that I've ever read. It is long, but it goes into so much detail, not only on how Super Saiyan works, Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue, and just every various Super Saiyan form, fusion, how they stack up. Like the power scaling in this manga is just so unreal. It makes so much sense, and you can honestly see that there was a lot of time, a lot of care, a lot of love put into this story to make it as good as possible, to make it amazing. And just the artwork itself is great. It's phenomenal. It is by far, again, one of those stories that really gives us a new look at different characters. Like Caulifla is the main character in this, and she does a bang up job, way better and way more likable than the Caulifla that we got in the anime. And there's no love story whatsoever, but there is a section where Chi-Chi is kind of like, hey, you know, Goku's hanging out with you, and you know, you're a female Saiyan, but remember, he's still my husband, kind of thing, which I really appreciated it because I feel like that would definitely come up. But besides that, it's just a really good story going into it, and I honestly absolutely love it. Dragon Ball V is the sauce. You want a Vegeta story where he is the main character and he is the one that is pushing the story forward. He is the savior the Universe 6 needs, and he is a Hakaioshin in training. Then Dragon Ball V is the story. Where Dragon Ball Infinity walked, Dragon Ball V runs. This is one of the stories that really made post Dragon Ball Super really fun, because you don't get much love, not only in Dragon Ball Super's anime, but in the manga for Vegeta. And this whole story is all about Vegeta. It's all about the love. It's got a side story with the Tuffles. They have a lot more insight into Universe 6 and how it operates, and at the same time you just get so many awesome battles with Vegeta versing various foes. I mean, the Vegeta versus Hit battle alone was insane. So this, in my opinion, is one of the best Dragon Ball fan mangas out there as well. Like the top 5, anything in the top 5 right here is highly, like 100%, some of the best mangas of all time. Absolute read. Definitely jump on this type of mangas. I mean, the last 5 were also in that level, but these first 5, these are the ones, guys. These are the ones. And no real list is complete without Multiverse. And Multiverse has the trophy here for being the longest running Dragon Ball fan manga ever created. It is literally from the late thousands and still ongoing. The story itself is all about how beings that are trans-dimensional, trans-multiversal, and they bring every single fighter from different universes into like a universe martial arts tournament, and you get some fights that are straight out of like Budokai Tenkaichi matches or Dragon Ball FighterZ matches. You get some really awesome what-if fights between characters that you've seen, and you get some really awesome what-if characters. And this is the manga that had the infamous Majin Bra arc. So whether you like that arc or not, I was honestly on its wavelength. I think that it was really badass for a long part of it. I think that it stumbled on the end, but it was still badass. But there's just so much goodness here, because not only do you get the main story, but you get side stories from each individual universe, fleshing each one out. It gives different characters different feels and different send-offs, and even characters that are like two Gokus that look exactly the same, but one is from a universe where this happened, one's universe where that happened. You can tell how like little differences between the same characters and some of the things that they either agree on or disagree on. Like, these have huge impacts on the story. Plus, you get like characters that you've always wanted to see. I always wanted to see a permanently fused Vegito, and I got to see that. I always wanted to see a Majin Buu that was like actually like a demon, kind of like someone that was like super powerful, and we get Zen Buu. Like, there's so many different characters and different what if scenarios here. It's honestly like, it definitely deserves its spot in the top 3. But let's see if you guys can guess which one is number 2 or number 1. Number 2 is Kakumei, and Kakumei has a rags to riches tale. It started off years ago, one of the first Dragon Ball fan mangas that I ever reviewed. It had limited manga style. It just wasn't like, it wasn't what it is now. It was a small story, it had a little bit going on, and then it canceled, which was sad. But it was a really cool take on like the mother of all angels and all these different angel abilities and different angel sets, and just, it was a huge multiversal war. That's what was teased. Years later, we get Kakumei rebooted, but this is like off the wall. It just is so beautiful. The story is great. New characters are introduced. You get like the fight between Goku and Beerus in the original is very, very small. It's only like a few pages. This is an entire chapter of some of the goriest fighting you'll ever see between Goku and Beerus. It is by far the most realistic take on a fight between Goku and Beerus, and everything in this manga, the power scaling with everything that's going on, is just top notch. Everything is really, really well done, and you can tell that the Kakumei team really loves their property, really loves this story, and are in it for the long haul. They're in it to win it. They're about to make an anime about the first episode or the first chapter, and it's ongoing, but there's enough there right now that I wanted to make sure that it was in this list, because very few anime really touch it. And for you guys, it might be different. This one might be number 1. But for me, there's still one that really captured my heart and showed me just a new take on a what if story. And that's kind of why I have it there. But if that one wasn't there, Kakumei would be number 1. Before I jump to number 1, I do want to have this segment here, because I know a lot of you guys are going to be spamming a bunch of different mangas that you've seen other creators make. And that's where I'm going to have this in honorable mentions. Mangas from, just off the top of my head, Unreal and Gaming, Rising Fist, Call Me Arch. These mangas and ongoing stories, either I haven't read the entire thing, or I haven't caught up to it, or there are so many different videos out there, or some creators on this list also make a lot of different mangas. So I just want to give them honorable mentions, because any creator that's making mangas on their own, and if they're literally doing it on their own, or even just coming with the stories on their own, it's a huge undertaking. So I wanted to give you guys love here, because I know how hard it could be, and I know how hard it is. And yeah, you guys are awesome. Any manga that's created by any creator, any YouTube creator or anything like that, it's going to be in this honorable mentions. You guys are the GOATs. Dragon Ball Shippuden, and this has always been my number 1 since, like, not Kakumei has come close, but Shippuden is just such top-notch storytelling. It is a story of Goku accidentally being sent to the Narutoverse, and you may think, oh, that's just like a regular what if, like what's going on. No, this is what a god, basically, and this is just Goku and base and maybe even Super Saiyan. What a god going into a world where people just know ninjutsu and taijutsu, and they just, you know, they use ninja skills, and they're just regular guys for the most part. Like, you can tell the difference in power scaling, the amount of awe that Goku shows, everyone shows to Goku in this manga. It really gives you a new appreciation for how strong Dragon Ball characters are, because they didn't do the thing where, you know, Naruto's fighting Goku one-on-one and they're trading blows, like whatever. No, Goku cannot be touched by anybody, to the point where Dragon Ball Shippuden's writer had to create a genjutsu that opened up another world, another version of Goku that's a female that is as strong as Goku. And this fight between these two Gokus, Son Goku the female and Son Goku the male, is literally on Kakumei level. It is the best fight that I've seen created in a manga, and it literally rivals the Goku versus Beerus fight in Dragon Ball Kakumei. It is that supreme. It is really one of the best Dragon Ball fan mangas that I've ever read, and honestly, you're not going to gain the appreciation from this or towards Shippuden without being a fan of Naruto first. So if you're not a fan of Naruto, I could see why Kakumei would be number one and Shippuden wouldn't be on the list. But a lot of you guys I know are fans of Naruto, and I know a lot of you guys have been on this channel and have seen my Shippuden videos, which I absolutely adore. So you know how much love I have for the series and the OC character they created, the new female Goku, which is such a cool character that I had to give it the number one on this list. But your list could be different than mine. If it don't apply, let it ride. This is going to be Blackscape signing off. Take care, guys.
Subscribe for more content. Or perish.